What is up, New Beginnings Church? Happy Monday morning to you. Welcome to this devotion series through the Gospel of Luke. If you want to pause and read ahead, we're in Luke chapter 22. And like I think got into last week, we are in what I call the greatest week in history, the week that changed the world. It begins with the triumphant entry of Jesus. He comes into the city of Jerusalem. And then, of course, that culminates in his death and resurrection. But right in the middle are some very, very just kind of profound and meaningful stories. And this is one of them. Starting in verse 24, it says this: a dispute also arose among the disciples as to which of them was considered to be the greatest. Jesus said to them, he said, the kings of the Gentiles, they lord it over people. And those who exercise authority over them call themselves benefactors. But you are not to be like that. Instead, the greatest among you should be like the youngest, and the one who rules like the one who serves. For who is greater, the one who's at the table or the one who's serving the table? Is it not the one who is at the table? But yet I am among you as the one who serves. And you are those who have stood by me in my trials, and I confer on you a kingdom, just as my Father conferred one on me, so that you may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom and sit on thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Great story here. Again, we've seen this story maybe in one of the other Gospels. This is not the first time. One time, James and John, their mom got involved even. Mom was trying to go lobby for her kids to sit at the right hand, the left hand. Again, these are, historically speaking, young men, as we know. And so these young men, they're having that little ego battle. They're jockeying for position. Who's the greatest? Who's going to eventually sit at the right hand of the king or the left hand? What position on his cabinet are we going to sit on? And so I love it because what Jesus does is this. They're arguing about greatness. And Jesus does not rebuke their desire to be great. Rather, what he does, he goes, no, it's more important that I redefine for you what greatness is. So he does a contrast. He goes, hey, you notice the Romans, the Gentiles? You notice how they lord it over people, they dominate, they intimidate. They have a different style of leadership. They even call themselves benefactors. He goes, we're not doing that. That's not my kingdom. He said, see, in the common world, when you perceive people sitting at a table, you think the one sitting at the table is more important and more valuable than the one who serves it. He goes, but what did I do? I came as the one who serves, which is this. I'm not telling you that you shouldn't desire to be great. I'm trying to get you to redefine what greatness is. If you think great is accolade and title and position and power, he goes, oh, no, you're going to have a backwards kingdom, right? That's what the Romans have. He goes, no, we're not doing it that way. Again, this is an upside down kingdom where we're not seeking after power. Actually, we're seeking to serve one another. As a matter of fact, he puts this word in here. He goes, the greatest among you should be like the youngest, meaning you should take a lesser position on purpose, meaning you should look around you and say, no, those are my elders. These people are of value, and I'll take a more humble position. I actually ran into this the other day. I was out golfing, and I was with this other pastor who I think has been a pastor for 30 years. And he's in his mid-60s, and we're hanging out. And he's a really great golfer, actually. And we have rangefinders, these little devices that click and tell you exactly how many yards you are from the pin. Well, he had left his behind on a previous hole. And he goes, oh my gosh, I left my rangefinder back there. I'm going to have to go get it. And I said, you know what? Let me go get it. You're old enough to be my dad. I'm old enough to be your son. If anybody's going to run back there, let me do it. And I thought, again, I just had this sense of I should probably just honor the fact that he's my elder. Well, I think that's the type of attitude that I don't want to have just with my elders. But what if I had that attitude with everybody? That everybody that I saw was a person that was so valuable that Christ deemed it worthy to give his life for theirs. And so in light of that, let me honor them. We talked about that just yesterday. Let me serve them. Let me take a humble position, because Jesus is going to say, hey, look, can you imagine? I want you to think about my kingdom. Can you imagine if every Christian, Catholic, Protestant, mainline, evangelical, Orthodox, whatever, you name it, just any Christian of any camp, in any group, in any category. What if we got into this crazy competition where we just said, hey, I wonder if I can just outserve everybody? And what if you tried to outserve me and I tried to outserve them and we just tried, let's wash feet everywhere. Let's feed the poor everywhere. Let's take care of widows and orphans everywhere. Let's do whatever we can to love people, to create honor and dignity. You know what would happen if we all adopted that mentality? Well, maybe, just maybe, we would change the world. And Jesus said, that's the kingdom right there. See, one day you're going to sit on these thrones. He was talking to the disciples. One day you're going to sit on these thrones. You're going to judge the 12 tribes of Israel. That's the attitude that I need you to have. I didn't come as the one who sat at the table. I rather came as the one who serves. Of course, remember, it was Jesus's last and final illustration where he took up the bucket and the water and said, hey, let me show you the way to greatness. It's by how well you can serve one another. What a challenge. What a challenge. Church, let that be our heart and our attitude today. I love you so much. God bless you. I'll see you tomorrow.